What's up guys, Kieran here, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to a new video. So in today's video, I'm obviously going to be installing some more car parts, but today's video is a little bit different because these are the first performance upgrades for the C43. So as you can see, it's just the box, but inside this box is a set of cold air intakes for the C43. Okay, so as far as I can tell, in terms of cold air intakes, these are a direct replica of the MST ones, except the MST ones are just ridiculously priced. And cold air intakes on the w205 is a bit of a touchy subject, as technically speaking, they're not a cold air intake, but I do have a little solution for that later on in the video. Okay, so with the box open, as you can see, we have the two tubes, as obviously it is bi-turbo, and then inside these boxes here are the filters themselves, which look pretty nice. So let's get on with the install. So this is the first set of intakes that I've actually had to install myself, as my last two cars have already come with them pre-installed. And there's not that many videos on how to actually install this set, but I have watched a video of the MST set and they don't look too confusing to do. So I'm going to start with stripping the old intakes off and then we'll build up the new ones. So let's get to stripping it. So to start with, we just need to get obviously the top cover off and the two trims. So let's pull them off now. Okay, so with them three trims off, I'm just going to run you through exactly what we need to do. So as you can see, we have a little bolt here. This needs to come out on both sides. We then need to take the sensors off up here, which make sure not to break, because obviously they need to go into the new units. I'm also going to take out all of these little Torx just so that we can get this cover off, so that I can take it off without breaking it, as I know that there's a lot of clips behind it. And then lastly, it'll be this little rubber trim. And then obviously we'll do the same on the other side, and then we can start building up the new ones. Okay, so one thing to quickly note is that there's obviously the sensor plug for the intakes. There's just a little clip on the back that you just lift off to release it, and then you can pull the whole plug off. So with taking this off, we can obviously now just pop the sensor out. It just pops off on the inside. As you can see, there's like two tabs. So as far as I can tell, you just twist it and then gently just push it out. So that's one sensor. So obviously we need to do that on both sides, but just be careful with them and do not break them. So with that top piece off and the sensor now out, we can now continue going around and just disassembling this. It's pretty much all just held on with clips as far as I can tell. So just going to give it a little tug on each corner, I believe. And as you can see, that is one filter out. So we've now just got this piece of foam which needs to come off, and then just repeat the same on the other side. Okay, so with now both the intakes off, I'm going to just start assembling a couple bits that I can do now. So we have these little collars which go on above the OEM ones, and then that's where the new bolt will go through. So I'll put both of them on now. Okay, so we're now at the part of the build where we need to put together the the intake covers, which don't come with instructions, which is why I've been putting this piece off. So we have 4 different sections for each intake. I'm just going to put you guys on a tripod and just do a time lapse of me attempting to build this thing up. Okay, so as you can see, we have them both built up. So we have one there, one here. I haven't put the tops on yet because obviously I can just put the tops on once the intakes are on, but with the top on, it will sort of just sit like that. So now we just got to get them on the car. So this one's for the left and then the one over there is to the right. So let's throw them on the car. Okay, so as you can see, I've just actually installed one of them off camera. I just wanted to know how it goes so that when I show you how to do the other side, I'm not telling you the wrong steps to do. So I'm just going to walk around to the other side now. Pretty much you have these 2 bolts on the coil pack you need to take out, as they then, you probably can't see it, but there's 2 mounting points on the intake bracket which mount to there. You then have one up top, as you can see it bolts into right there. To be honest, it's not that bad to install, it's just a lot of wiggling around to actually get it to fit. And then you obviously just mount the pipes onto the bracket, and then up top as well there's actually 2 brackets up top, so you just mount both of them on. So I'll just do a time lapse now of me installing the second one. Motherfucker. Okay, so with the bracket now installed, we have the intake here. The sensors go in a little different to these intakes. Basically, you just push them straight into the end. You might need to twist it a bit as there is an O-ring on it. And just make sure that they're fully seated. Otherwise, I believe that a MAF sensor code will come up. So now, that will pretty much just go like that. There's a little bracket to go here, a couple of these little clamps, and then I think we're ready for the startup.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Wow. Okay, so as you probably just saw, this clip just fell all the way to the bottom of the under tray and I couldn't get it. So I've had to just jack the car up and put the car in the air to get this one clip back out, but it doesn't matter, we've got it. So now let's get the rest of the intake on. Okay, so one thing to note that I have just noticed, these pipes are actually specific to a side, so The one that I've put on the right hand side is actually for this side, as this intake's sitting way further forward, so I'm going to swap them over now. So as you can see, with the power of editing, they're now both swapped over and they now have the same distance from the back. So with that being said, the intakes are completely installed, obviously just apart from the top covers, which I am going to leave off for now. So with that being said, let's give the car a start up. Okay, so good news, there's no check engine light, which means that I did install them correctly. So I'm just going to let the car warm up for a few minutes and I'll give you some revs. Okay, so as you guys can hear, in comparison to how they sounded before, they sound absolutely crazy. Like inside the car, it was so much louder. So with that being said, I'm going to put all the trims back on and then we'll go out for a drive. But with that being said, I think that that is the intakes finished. Right guys, so I wish that I could say that this is a genuine reaction to the intakes. I tried to film this yesterday, but both mics were connected to the same camera and one was under the bonnet. So it was just way too loud for me to talk and for you to hear the engine at the same time, or the intakes at the same time. So I'm going to try again today, see how it goes, but we'll get you some sound clips of how they sound, and I must say, they sound crazy. Just listen to this. I mean, wow. That is mental. So we'll just go on a quick little drive, get a couple sound clips so that you can just hear what they sound like. Yeah, as you can hear, they sound unreal. They sound so good. So in terms of how hard they were to install, honestly, they weren't that bad. They were just a little bit tedious with what you needed to do to actually get them installed. My little fix for the cold air system with the heat shield, I tried it today, but the heat shield wouldn't stick to the metal. So for now, I'm gonna leave them off until I find a better solution of how to cool them even better than they come from the factory. But with that being said, I think it's time to hear some pops. Yeah dude, the car sounds so good. It just sounds so good. I'll do 1 or 2 launch controls as well, just so that you can actually hear what it sounds like when it's actually under boost. So we'll go down a bit of an empty street and we'll go do a launch control. Right, so I found a place that it's not great for launches, but it's also at the same time it will do. So in Sport Plus, traction control off. Let's just get past this van, we'll come to a stop. Okay, so put the car under boost. Yeah, dude, the car sounds so unreal. It sounds so good. We'll do one more, just as there is another little bit of empty space and there's no cars coming. So again, traction control off, Sport Plus, foot on the brake, boost. Yeah, it sounds so good. And considering that it's got the AMG performance exhaust, but considering it's stock, the exhaust like well keeps up with how loud the intakes are now. So I'm definitely happy with the install. But with that being said, I think unfortunately it's time to end off the video. So as you could hear from the sound clips, the new intakes sound absolutely crazy. Such a big difference compared to the stock ones. But unfortunately, with that being said, I think that's going to be the end of the video. So if you did enjoy, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.